Hi, I'm Brian Johnson, film critic for Maclean's magazine. Let's take a look at what's new at the movies this week. Well, we've got a feel-good movie and a feel-bad movie. Let's start with the feel-bad movie. Here's the thing. If you're squeamish, like me, how do you watch a horror movie? And I'm not just talking about any run-of-the-mill horror movie. I'm talking about Evil Dead. This is hardcore. This is the real thing. For me, watching this kind of thing is an occupational hazard because I would never in a million years go see a movie like Evil Dead unless I was being paid to do it. And believe me, the money's not worth it. Evil Dead is a remake of the Sam Raimi 1982 cult classic, which I never saw because I don't like that kind of thing. It's your basic cabin in the woods scenario, but you know, there's not even time for the usual sex and drugs kind of romp before things get scary. You know they're not fooling around where right before the opening credits we have a young woman burned at the stake. They just get right down to it, and there's not one knife, one meat cleaver, shotgun, or chainsaw in this cabin in the woods that will go unused. It's a bad time right from the word go. We've got four characters. We've got a junkie, her brother, a nurse, and a nerd who are in this cabin, and their collective project is to help the junkie, Mia, played by Jane Levite, kick heroin. Cold turkey never looked this bad. The cabin is a bottomless pit of horror. I'm talking zombies and ghouls. Before you can say The Exorcist, Mia is possessed by a demon who turns her into a projectile-vomiting, foul-mouthed, homicidal witch. I don't know how you're supposed to watch this stuff. I had my eyes shut out for, I'm sure, what were some of the best scenes. And later, after I talked to a film critic colleague, wondering how he coped with it, he said, well, his approach is, I don't engage. I just watch how everything is made, and it's fascinating. Well, I wish I could be that clinical, but even if I could, if you don't go along for the ride, why watch the movie at all? Now, the filmmakers are very proud of the fact that they used virtually no computer graphics, just old-school prosthetics, and they seem to have done a terrific job. You know, it's funny, this kind of stuff used to be just B-movie kitsch, but a whole generation of fanboy critics have elevated it to high art. I found Evil Dead repulsive, sickening, horrifying. So I guess that's a good thing, right? It's just not my cup of blood. So what I'd say is, this is probably a great movie. Damned if I know, but watch it at your own risk. Moving right along, if you're looking for sweetness and light, there's a crowd pleaser from Australia called the Sapphires. It's based on a true story of four Aborigine sisters. They're a singing quartet who were recruited in the 60s to entertain American troops in Vietnam. Their impresario is a washed-up Irish musician played by Chris O'Dowd. He discovers them at a local talent show, weans them off country music, which is their thing, and basically turns them into a red-hot soul and R&B act. Basically, we've got an Irish drunk who's teaching a bunch of black Australians how to be more black. And the movie tries to make the most of that comic irony. Now, the Sapphires is such a feel-good fable that the reality of the story, because it's based on a true story, tends to get a bit lost. It's kind of like Dreamgirls meets The Commitments with, well, it's the Aboriginal version. At times it does get too cute, but I gotta say the women who play the Sapphires have true grit, they're charming, and they can sing. And the music, well, it's great. So you could do worse than go see the Sapphires. Well, you could go see Evil Dead if that's your thing. I'm Brian Johnson from Maclean's and City News Channel. You can read my reviews online at macleans.ca.